Hello, everybody. Please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. I see a few people have already done so, and then we will get started. And I've got a little question for you on the screen, which is what's one thing you hope to do this year in 2026? This does not necessarily need to be related to English, okay? It can be any goal, any hope, any plan in any area, okay? All right, let me double check here, make sure everything is working. There we go. Okay, looks like we have about 25 people on here. We are live on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook. So we have students here from Mauritius, from Brazil, from France. I can show your guys' comments on the screen. Hello, good morning, or good evening. And more people are joining us. All right, Romania, hello. Improve your English in 2026. Well, you're starting out wonderfully by coming to this class. Getting better physically with diet and exercise. Yeah, that's something that I started to do a little bit more last year, and I want to continue it into the new year. Hello from Italy, Switzerland. And no specific goals, but keeping on the good habits from last year. That's fantastic. That means you're probably likely to continue them. Vietnam, Houston, Texas, Illinois, Turkey, France. Diet is your goal. Happy first week of the new year from Poland. Yes, Happy New Year to everybody. One of the things I love seeing is some of the New Year's celebrations around the world. We watched the fireworks in London. I mean, we were here in the US, but we celebrated the New Year a little early and we put on the fireworks from London, which happened earlier than midnight for us, so we could go to bed a little bit earlier. I also enjoy watching the fireworks in Rio de Janeiro, and yeah, celebrations from around the world. Colombia. All right, we got some warm countries and we got some cold countries. So wherever you are from, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I'm really excited to teach you 26 new words for 2026. So these are words that were added to the dictionary in the past year. And when I say the dictionary, I looked at a few different dictionaries, right? There's the Oxford and the Cambridge and Merriam-Webster. There's a few different publishers that make dictionaries. Sometimes they all add words at different times, but a word usually gets added to the dictionary when it's already being commonly used by the general population, right? The dictionaries do not make up the words themselves, but when a word has kind of been created, or it could be an existing word that has acquired a new meaning, and it is used pretty frequently in just conversations, in the news, and TV shows, eventually it becomes part of the language, right? So the dictionaries have to update themselves and add some of these new words. So some of these words you might already recognize. Some of them you might know like the old meaning or the simple meaning of them, but you might not know this new meaning that they have come to have nowadays, okay? All right, so before we get started, I still see more people joining us, but don't worry if you're just coming on now. We're recording this so you can watch the replay at this same link. You won't miss anything, and there are also notes for you to download. I will send all of that out by email tomorrow. So welcome to 26 new English words for 2026. And you can download the notes, which I think also include examples. Yes, the notes also include example sentences for each word when you click on the link in the description. And if you're already on my email list, then I will send it to you by email as well. Okay? All right, lots of people joining. That's fantastic. Okay. And I've divided these words into 5 categories. One is words that have to do with the internet or social media or online culture. Another category is relationships. Another category is lifestyle and mental health, work and technology, and then food and culture. Before we start, I wanted to remind you that when you join my Espresso English Academy in January, so this is going to the end of the month, you get the advantage of the lowest price all year. If you're not familiar with the Academy, the Espresso English Academy is the complete collection of all my courses, all my ebooks, and we also, you might not know this because we added it fairly recently, about a year ago, we added a student discussion community where we do daily conversation starters, we do challenges a couple of times a year, we sometimes do special master classes. All of that is included. And when you join the Academy, you can join these courses one by one. I know many of you have. If you were to join all of them together, it would be a lot of money. When you join the Academy, you get a discount. And when you join the Academy in January, I allow you to do an extended 10-month payment plan that ends up being just about $1 a day. I like to say that it is less than the price of a daily cup of coffee to get instant access to all of my courses, all of my ebooks, the student community, and any other extras we publish throughout the year. And right now, let's see, today is January 6th. I like to give an extra gift to students who take action quickly. So that's why I'm offering a bonus calendar when you join the Academy by January 8th. So today is Tuesday. That means the deadline for this is Thursday. When you join the Academy, you will get access to everything I just mentioned, plus this calendar of 365 English words for 2026. The calendar is fantastic. You can download it, you can print it out. It's organized week by week. Each week has a theme. So the first week of the year, the theme is New Year's, and then there's a winter theme, and then there are 52 other themes in the calendar. And so you'll learn just a new word each day with a little picture, a definition, and an example sentence. Some people cut up the cards. You can see that the days on the calendar are organized like little cards. You can use them like flashcards or memory cards, or you can just print out the whole page of the calendar and post it on your wall or on your refrigerator somewhere that it's easy to see, and just a fantastic way to learn a new English word every day. So that special bonus is available for you when you join the Espresso English Academy by January 8th. I'll tell you, and the link for the Academy is also in the video description. It's just courses.espressoenglish.net/academy. You will find all the information about all of the courses, what's included, and your opportunity to sign up. Okay, let's jump in with new words about the internet, social media, and online culture. If you can, I would encourage you to try to use some of these new words in your own sentences. You can post those in the comments. I know there's a little bit of delay from when I'm talking and when you are hearing things and typing things and posting them, so I will try to show as many of your comments as I can as we go through. So our first word is rage bait. Okay, rage bait. Rage means like strong anger, and bait, I have that little picture there. Bait is what we use, it can be like a worm or it can be a little colored thing on the end of a fish hook to try to attract a fish and catch it. So putting these two words together to make rage bait. Rage bait is content that people post online to deliberately, on purpose, make people angry so they comment, argue, or share it, okay? So it's a way to hook people in by posting something really controversial or kind of offensive or something, that's gonna get people all upset and angry and be tempted to comment or argue or share it and say, isn't this ridiculous or isn't this stupid? If you spend any time online, I'm sure you've seen content like this, rage bait, and it often spreads very quickly because so many people are engaging with the post or the video or whatever it is. Our second word is clout. Clout means influence, popularity, or attention. So if someone is just, let's say someone wants to be a social media influencer, they want to be somebody who has a lot of people following them. Well, when they just start out, they might only have 5 or 10 followers. They don't have clout yet. They don't have a lot of influence or popularity or attention. But as their followers grow, then they have more than 1 million people following them or more than 10 million people subscribing to their channel, then we can say they have a lot of clout because many, many people are paying attention to them. And whatever they say, a lot of people will probably do. If they say this is a great hair product, a lot of people will probably buy it. So clout is a word for influence, popularity, or attention. It's often used about those things online, but it could also be used for influence, popularity, or attention offline. Like if you're talking about maybe a certain politician who is not the president of a country, but he has a lot of influence. He can work with other people to get his goals accomplished. A lot of people pay attention to him. He has a lot of popular support. You can say that politician has a lot of clout, even though they don't have the highest title. Okay, let's keep going. Number 3 is slop. Slop, you will often see this as AI slop. And this refers to low quality online content that's often generated by AI. So like if someone goes to an AI video generator and just says, make me an English lesson about the present tense. Okay. AI can do that, but it might have some mistakes in it, or it might have a person with like 7 fingers on each hand, right? AI makes these kind of weird mistakes. Or there's just, I don't know, it's just kind of low quality, but people love making that stuff and they just post it all online. It's like they're throwing it up and they're posting it online. And a lot of people don't really like this because it's not a good quality. And if you're looking, especially to learn something seriously, like learn a language seriously, or if you're learning to be informed about something, you want the best quality. You want high quality stuff that was really designed by an expert, designed by someone who knows what they're doing, not just something that was like spit out by AI. So we call this kind of low quality online content slop or AI slop. I have really seen a lot of this starting to be posted more and more, unfortunately, on YouTube and everywhere else. So that's why I am especially appreciative of those of you who still love learning from real human teachers and who are here today. Okay, number 4 is inspo. Inspo. This is short for inspiration, and it's something that gives you good ideas. So maybe you are planning a trip to the Caribbean and you've never been there before, but you are following a lot of people who have traveled to this destination. Maybe you save some of their videos about certain hotels or certain beaches you want to visit. It's your travel inspo, travel inspiration. It's giving you good ideas for your trip. Other contexts I've seen this used are workout inspo. Okay, working out meaning to exercise. You might see some videos of some cool or interesting exercises that you want to work on and you save them for inspo, for inspiration. Or people can do home decor inspo. If you want to make your house look really nice and decorate it and have it be beautiful, maybe you'll save pictures of designs and decorations that other people have made as your inspo. Okay, those are a few examples of how to use inspo for inspiration. This one is pretty informal. You will see it used online. I wouldn't say this in like a work-related email. I would just say inspiration. Okay. Number 5 is cancel culture. This has been around for a while, at least a few years, but now the term cancel culture has been officially added to a few dictionaries. And that is the practice of publicly criticizing and boycotting someone. So boycotting means you will not buy from them. You will not invite them to speak. You just like reject them. Publicly criticizing and boycotting someone for offensive behavior or opinion. So let's say a famous singer posts something really racist or insulting a particular religion, or just nasty, mean, and offensive, then people might, we say, cancel that person. It means that they reject them, they don't buy any of their stuff, they don't listen to their music anymore, they don't invite them to perform. And so people should be conscious about what they say online and everywhere else, of course. So cancel culture describes the general practice, but you will often see it as just the verb, this person was canceled, or let's cancel this company or this person. It means like to just like reject them and, not just say no to everything that they are selling or promoting because of something offensive that they have said. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, let's keep going. Number 6 is doom scrolling. So scrolling is what we do on our phones, right? It's like going through with your finger and going down or going across. Well, no, going across is swiping, and going up and down is scrolling. So scrolling is going up and down on your phone, usually on your phone, but on your computer. And then doom refers to something that is like disaster, terrible, depressing. So doom scrolling means spending a long time scrolling through, reading, or looking at negative or upsetting news online. Unfortunately, we have access to a lot of bad news and sad news. And if you read a lot of it, if you spend a lot of time doom scrolling, it can really affect your mood and your mind and your emotions. And so this is not good for you. But of course, bad news is something that always attracts a lot of attention. So the social media companies show us a lot of it. So it's easy to kind of get sucked into this bad habit of doom scrolling. Let me know if you've ever done that, or if you really try to stay away from it and just read. A healthier way would be to read the news, but not spend lots of time reading too much about the worst news in the world. Okay? You want to stay informed, but you also don't want to harm your mental health or your emotional health by doing too much doom scrolling. Wait, let me just go back a second. Here's a good question. Is doom scrolling also used for TV? That's a really good question. I would say no, because of the word scrolling. That's specifically something you do on the phone or the computer, more commonly the phone. And so if you're watching a lot of bad news on TV, I don't think there's a specific term for it. You can make up one, doom watching, I don't know. Binging on bad news, or just watching too much bad news, you could say. But I think since so many people nowadays get their news from the phone, and the difference is that the TV just shows you whatever the channel is showing, but your phone and social media will show you more of what you're still, you keep watching. So it can show you more and more bad news instead of the news on the TV will be varied. Bad news, good news, like neutral news. Yes, my mother-in-law also used to do that. And she does not watch bad news on TV anymore, and it has definitely improved her mental health. Yeah, the word I used there was binge. Binge means to consume too much of something, or consume a lot, maybe too much. We use it for food, and we can use it for TV or like a certain show. All right, let's keep going. Here's another abbreviation, and that is delulu, and that is short or slang for delusional, which is to believe something false or totally unrealistic. Okay, so here's an example. If you think you can become fluent in English without practicing at all, you are delulu. You are delusional. You must practice in order to become fluent in English or in any language, right? So that's why I always encourage you to, yes, come to these classes, watch my lessons, but inside my courses and inside my academy, there are always practice opportunities. There's homework, where you can write your answers and send them to us. There's speaking, where you can record yourself speaking and send it to us, and then we'll give you feedback and correction. But yes, don't think you might be studying by yourself, but you don't need to do it alone. You can get support from us at Espresso English. But there are a lot of things people believe that are totally false or totally unrealistic. And so you will see this word delulu thrown around online. If you believe, I don't even know, such and such things, if you believe that the government is trying to poison us secretly through chemicals in the food, you're delulu. People will say this a lot about something that someone else believes they think is just crazy, totally ridiculous. Again, this is slang. It's an abbreviation. This is not to be used in more professional situations. Okay, let's move on to our next category, which is new words about relationships and social behavior. If you are late, but you've just arrived, don't worry. You can review everything by watching the replay or downloading the notes, which you will find in the video description, and I will send them out by email tomorrow. Okay? Okay. Number 8 is side eye. I found this great little picture of someone kind of like looking to the side a little suspiciously. It's a look or a reaction that shows like irritation, confusion, judgment, or disapproval. Usually I would say irritation. So let's say a girl, her boyfriend is supposed to take her out for romantic dinner, and he is like an hour late, and he gives some ridiculous excuse, like his dog ate his car key. No, his dog hid his car keys or something like that. And she might give him some serious side eye, like, really? That's the reason you were late for our romantic date? Okay. So it shows like irritation, disapproval, like suspicion. Yeah, that's what it means to you will see it as it's not a verb. You'll see it as like give someone side eye. She gave him serious side eye. So she's looking at him with serious irritation or judgment or disapproval. Number 9, touch grass. This could have also been in the category about online stuff. Touch grass is a funny way to tell someone to stop spending so much time online and reconnect with real life. It's like you're literally telling them, get off your computer, get off your phone, go outside and touch grass, like get back in contact with nature, with real life. So let's say your uncle says, I've been spending 3 hours a day arguing on Facebook with people about politics. You might tell him, hey, I think it's time for you to touch grass. So put the phone away, get offline, and go do something that is healthier. Go do something that, in the offline world, right? In the real world. It can be a little, I don't want to say insulting, but you're basically accusing the other person of spending too much time online. And it's like a very direct way to say it. Okay. So if you want to be more diplomatic, like, your grandmother is spending too much time, let's say, doom scrolling, you would say, hey, you probably wouldn't say, hey, grandma, touch grass, because that's a little too like direct. You would say, hey, grandma, it might be best to spend a little less time online. So you would say it in a little more indirect way. But if you ever see this, if you're interacting online and you see someone tell someone else to touch grass, that's what they're saying. They're saying, get off the internet and go spend some time offline. Next, we have situationship. This is a romantic relationship that isn't clearly defined or official. So maybe it's two people who kind of act a little bit like a couple, like they were boyfriend and girlfriend. And so maybe they have some physical affection, or they meet up and they do a lot of things together, but they're not officially in a romantic relationship. They're not officially boyfriend and girlfriend. So maybe they could also be dating other people, but they're also still involved. They're still involved with each other. It's nobody really knows what the situation is. And so they took the word relationship and they added the word situation and called it a situationship. It's very hard to define. Someone asked about here, friends with rights. So there is a similar expression called friends with benefits in English. We would say friends with benefits, not friends with rights. And that is two people who are friends, but they are also having sex, but they're not in a romantic relationship. A situationship is not even that specific. We don't know if they are sleeping together or not. It's not as maybe they don't even know what their relationship status is. So it's not as specific. Friends with benefits is a little bit more specific about that relationship. They're just friends, but they also have a sexual relationship. A situationship, it's just a big question mark. They kind of act like a couple, but they haven't put a specific label on it. Okay. Number 11, we have hard pass to mean a strong, definite refusal. And this comes from the fact that when we don't want something that is offered to us or we don't want to do something, we often say, I'll pass. So, for example, if someone offers me some mashed potatoes and I just don't like mashed potatoes, I could say, oh, I'll pass on the mashed potatoes, meaning I don't want any. If we say hard pass, that means no, no way, not in a million years. So if I hate roller coasters and someone invites me to go on like one of those really crazy ones that goes upside down and hangs you, flips you all around, I would say hard pass, like definitely no, and you cannot convince me to go on that roller coaster. Is there anything that you have that would be a hard pass? Or let's say, let me think of another one. Let's say someone invites me to a 5-hour meeting on Friday afternoon. I might say, ugh, hard pass. Like nobody wants to be meeting for 5 hours on Friday afternoon. I want to get out of here and go enjoy my weekend. So that's what it means to say hard pass. You can just say it by itself. If someone offers you something or invites you to do something and you just totally don't want to do it, you could just say hard pass. Okay. Again, it's not super diplomatic. If you don't want to offend the person, then you could just say no, thank you, or no, that's not my cup of tea. That means you just really don't like it. Hard pass is a little bit more direct. I would probably use this mostly with good friends or people we know well. Okay, so if you're like your boss invites you to their house for dinner, and your boss's wife serves you some food that you don't like, do not say hard pass. That's not the situation to say, because she'll probably be offended. She made this food and she thinks it's delicious, but you're rejecting it. Then you can just say no, thank you. Okay. Someone put smoking, hard pass. Yeah, smoking has a lot of, can damage your health quite a bit. It's addictive. So hard pass on smoking. Yeah, I won't do that. Even if you pay me, you could not pay me $1 million to do that. Right. And everyone has different things, right? For some people, that crazy roller coaster is their idea of an awesome time. And for someone else, it would be a hard pass. Okay, here's a slang term. It's riz, and this comes from the middle syllable of charisma. So someone who has charisma, or charisma is the noun form, and the adjective is charismatic. But that's a quality where like other people tend to like be attracted to, drawn to, or charmed by a person who has charisma. They just have like a kind of magnetic personality. You can see a little magnet on the picture there. It brings people in. And even though in the picture it's showing a man with several women, it's not necessarily a romantic attraction. It's just this person, wow, lots of people of both genders really like them and want to be with them and want to follow them. So that's what it means for someone to have charisma. And this has gotten abbreviated to Riz. This is a very like young person's slang word. The new generation Alpha or Generation Z, I don't know, is using this word Riz to mean this quality of drawing in other people and other people really being attracted to or drawn to that person. Okay, let's keep going. New words about lifestyle and mental health. Here's one. Let me know if you've ever done this. It's called bed rotting. Okay, if food is rotting, it means like it has sat there for a long time and it's starting to go bad. And bed rotting means spending long periods just lying in bed doing nothing productive. Maybe you're scrolling on your phone, maybe you're just watching 25 episodes of a favorite show. Maybe you're just kind of like eating lots of snacks and like sleeping and then waking up and eating more snacks. Bed rotting is often linked to burnout or low mood. So sometimes people do this a little bit. Like if you've just had a really busy week, let's say you've been organizing an event at work and then the event was on Friday and you really had to put all of your energy into it. And then you might spend the weekend bed rotting, just really pretty much staying in bed and not even really getting up to cook or anything, just kind of grabbing some snacks and going back to bed and just wasting time watching stuff on TV or watching stuff using your phone. That can be okay for just like a weekend to recover from burnout. But if someone is doing this like a lot, like almost every day, and they don't have healthier habits or hobbies or anything like that, then this can be a sign of depression, low mood or depression, and the person might need some help to kind of get out of that situation of just staying in bed all day. Okay. I very rarely do this because I have kids. And so they're always wanting to be up and about and doing lots of different activities. So I don't even have the time to spend any time bed rotting. But if I did, I would probably only do it for a little bit. And then I would be motivated to get up and go somewhere or get up and do something. Number 14 is adulting. So someone who is an adult is someone who is grown up, someone who is over 18 years old. And so adulting as a verb means doing responsible grown up tasks like paying bills or making appointments. You know, a lot of people go through this phase where, as a young adult, so like maybe between the ages of 18 and early 20s, they have to learn to do a lot of these tasks because maybe they've never done them before. If their parents didn't make them do laundry, then they need to learn how to do laundry and how to pay their bills on time and how to call the dentist and make an appointment and how to pay their taxes and fill out paperwork. All of these kind of boring but necessary tasks that are just part of our lives as adults. We need to learn to do, right? Either someone has to teach us or we have to figure it out by ourselves. And so adulting is doing these tasks, taking care of them, not putting them off until later. Since some people, they want to avoid it because it's boring, because it's annoying, because it's uncomfortable. And so they like put it off and they just don't want to deal with it. But adulting is realizing that you are an adult. Nobody is going to do it for you. So you need to do the responsible thing and take care of your responsibilities. Okay. Someone asked about the previous one. If instead of doing bed rotting, you do it on the floor, can we say floor rotting? I guess you could, but I've never heard it. So I think the more common term is bed rotting. I guess you could do it on a couch too. Okay, number 15, dad bod. So bod is short for body, and dad bod is a male body type that's slightly soft or a little bit out of shape, and it can be viewed as relatable or attractive. So a lot of people, after they become parents, after they become a mom or a dad, they often do not have a ton of time to exercise, right? And also, as we get older, we might tend to eat more and move less. And so the tendency is to gain a little bit of weight. And so a dad bod is like a man who he's not fat, but he's also not like super muscular. He's just like a little soft. He's like a little squishy. I tried to find a good picture. It was kind of hard to get this exactly right. But he's like slightly out of shape. Not one of these like muscle bodybuilder guys. And a lot of women actually find this attractive. They say they don't want the guy with the big muscles. They are attracted to men who have this dad bod body type, okay? Or it might be seen as relatable. Like not everyone needs to look like a bodybuilder. Not everyone needs to have these super defined muscles. Maybe I'm just like, this is just like a normal body type for your average, slightly older adult. But that's what a dad bod is. Number 16, this is one of my favorites, is beast mode. Beast mode is a mental state of extreme focus, energy, or effort. So we'll often say that someone goes into beast mode when they are like super focused and they do a ton of work and they get a lot done. So let's say you have a project that's supposed to take 3 weeks and you put it off until the day before, and then you're going to have to go into beast mode. You're going to have to spend every minute of that last day working on the project in order to get everything done. And then maybe you will be super productive and do the whole thing in one day, even though it was supposed to take 3 weeks. So it doesn't necessarily have to be at the last minute. Maybe you are planning a wedding and you take a weekend and you go into, the wedding is still some time away, but you take a weekend and you go into beast mode. You like spend all of your time calling different caterers, planning out the decorations, getting someone to do the flowers, hiring a photographer, interviewing musicians. And so you're just dedicating all of your energy and effort to accomplish that task. And you're probably pretty productive. Someone said, we must be in beast mode to understand these words. Yeah, this is a little bit of an intensive class for sure. And it's good. You can't be in this mindset all the time, right? It's just not possible. We're human beings. We need rest too. So it's good to alternate. Sometimes you'll go into beast mode and you'll get a lot done, and then you need a period of rest or of lower activity before you have the energy to go into beast mode again. Can we say I was in beast mode, so I had a burnout? Yeah, you can. You don't need before beast mode. You can just say I was in beast mode. And then you can say I got burned out. I got burned out, or I experienced burnout. Yeah, that sometimes happens if you're in beast mode for too long. About the previous term, someone asked, can I use the term adultization for that? Can you briefly comment on adulthood and adultization, if that word exists in English? Okay, so we do have the word adulthood, which refers to the period of time, the period of your life that you are an adult. So we have childhood to describe the time when you are a child, and we have adulthood to describe the period of life that you are an adult. We don't have adultization, I don't think. I'm not sure if that means like the process of becoming an adult. Just call it growing up, I guess. So we don't have that word specifically, no, but we do have adulthood. Yep. And so in your adulthood, you should be adulting. When you are in that phase of life that you were an adult, you should be adulting. You should be doing responsible things. You should not be acting like a kid, right? All right. Let's see. Cat comments. Great. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the class. Okay, let's go. Okay, micro stress. Micro means something small. And so micro stress refers to small repeated sources of stress that build up over time. So these are not like major things like a big fight in your marriage or a major disaster to happen to your house. These are like tiny things. Like maybe there's something your husband or wife always forgets to do, and it's just like annoying you a little bit. And then there's something wrong with the faucet in your bathroom and it keeps dripping. It's not like urgent to fix. It's not major, but it's stressing you out because it's still not fixed. And then, there's your car is not quite the way you want it to be, or something like a little bit wrong with it, and it stresses you out. And then your boss keeps giving you things that are slightly outside your job description, and that's kind of annoying you too, but you don't feel like it's major enough to confront your boss about it. So micro stress are just like these little things, little sources of stress that can build up over time. And if you don't resolve some of them or address some of them, then they can damage your mental health or cause you to get really stressed. Okay, let's go to our category about work and technology. WFH is simply an abbreviation for work from home. This became a lot more common during and then after the pandemic, right? folks who had jobs that could be done from home oftentimes were allowed to work from home. And another term you will also see sometimes if you're looking for jobs and what the conditions of those jobs are is you'll see the term hybrid. Hybrid means it's partly from home and partly from the office. So maybe the employer says, everyone needs to be in the office on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but Thursday and Friday you can work from home. Or maybe it's even more flexible than that. Maybe the boss simply says, you need to spend at least 10 days a month in the office, but the rest of the time you work from home. That would be a hybrid job. But WFH, work from home, that's a job that you can do like mine, pretty much from home all the time. And speaking of work from home, so when employees work from home, one of the disadvantages for the employer is that it's harder to keep track of whether or not the person is actually working. One of the ways that companies sometimes do it is they install some software on the computer that tracks your activity so that if you're moving the mouse and if you're typing, and that means that you're probably working and you're not just watching TV or doing chores around the house. And so people invented this thing called a mouse jiggler. That thing that picture there is called a mouse. And a mouse jiggler is a little device that moves your mouse so that your computer looks active, even if you have stepped away from the computer and you are now taking a 2-hour walk in the park. So this is a little way for employees to kind of cheat a little bit this monitoring and make it look like they're working when they might not be working. Okay, another really good question here. Is work from home the same as homework? No, homework is really only used in the context of school and academics. It's what your teacher gives to you that you need to do at home. So right now, one of my daughters is in 2nd grade, and every night she has homework. She has to write some spelling words, she has something to read, and she has a little math worksheet to do. In my courses, I give my students who are adults, but I give them homework. So it might be, okay, take 10 words from this lesson and now use them in sentences and send them to us so we can correct them. So homework is always used in the context of school, okay? And then work from home in the context of work. Home office would be the space in your house where you work from home. So I don't have a home office. Right now, I'm just in my bedroom, which is the only place that has a clean white wall behind me. But some people have a home office. It can be a dedicated room, or it can just be like a desk in kind of a corner of a room. And that refers to the physical place in your house or in your apartment where you are working from home. Okay, great question. Because sometimes in English, we get a lot of similar terms that seem like they could be the same thing, but there are these small differences between them. So I love clearing that up for you. All right, let's keep going. Another one is called quiet hiring. This is a trend that I guess has been happening. If a company wants to save some money, they don't want to increase their expenses by hiring new people. Instead, what they do is they just give their existing employees new responsibilities. So let's say they want to use more AI in their company, but instead of hiring someone who specializes in AI, what they do is they take one of their existing employees, maybe someone who works with technology or with the website, and they say, hey, learn about AI so that you can also do these AI related tasks, okay? Now, there's a limit to this, obviously. You can't just pile on the responsibilities. Eventually, it will get to be too much for one person. But this is a way for companies to save money by not constantly be bringing on new people, but instead just adding to their existing employees the new responsibilities. So they're not actually hiring anybody, but it's called quiet hiring because they are kind of it's like they're getting a new person, but the new person is the same person with some added or some new responsibilities. Another AI related term is an AI hallucination. So hallucination refers to seeing something that is not there. Sometimes people with mental problems or certain diseases or someone who is taking powerful drugs can hallucinate. They can see or hear something or someone that is not there. And so we have this thing called an AI hallucination, which is when an AI system confidently generates false or made up information. So this sometimes happens if you ask AI to do some research for you and it says, there was a medical study done that proves this drug is safe, but you look into it further and you realize it completely made up the study. There is no such study. It just created it, imagined it, hallucinated it. So this is why it's important to be really careful still when working with AI and always double check things that AI is telling you. I have often had it make mistakes when I'm working on content for lessons and I tell it to do something and it does something that's just incorrect in English. And so that's why it's so important to double check, because it can just make things up. If it doesn't know the answer, if it thinks that you might benefit from some made up information, it will sometimes do that. Question, do people who do quiet hiring receive payment for it? Depends on the company. So sometimes if a company adds more responsibilities to someone, they will also increase their pay, right? Because the employee has become more valuable. It's still less expensive than hiring a whole new person, so the company still saves money. I would say that a good company will increase pay for the employees as the employees get more responsibilities. Unfortunately, some companies might not want to do that. And then what tends to happen is the employees get burned out and they quit. So could AI hallucination be the same as fake news? Yeah, it's similar, not exactly the same. Fake news, I'd say that's used more in like politics, about news that is not like, it could be completely made up, or it could be just reported from an angle that the person doesn't like. And so they say this is just fake news. It's like not true, or it's not completely true. And an AI hallucination is more specifically something that's created by AI. Okay, next we have dash cam. So this is a camera mounted in a car that records while driving. So this front area of a car where the steering wheel is and where you have the little controls, that whole area is called the dashboard. Okay, dashboard. And then so dash comes from dashboard, and then cam comes from camera. So we put them together and we get dash cam. It's a little hard to see in that picture over there, but on the right side of it, there is a little camera, see? And so dash cam is this tiny camera that it records the road. Some people have one in the front and then one in the back. And these are helpful for if you ever get into a car accident. One of the jobs of the police is to figure out whose fault the accident was, so they can figure out whose insurance company needs to pay for the accident. So dash cam can help because it can show, yes, I stopped at the stop sign and the other person did not stop. Or it can show if you were the one who made the mistake, it can show that you were the one who went out of the lane and into the other lane and had the accident. So that's one reason people have dash cams, is to record the road, and in case of accident, it's really easy to figure out, or it's easier to figure out what happened and whose fault it was. And it's especially important if you drive a lot, like people who drive for Uber or delivery services. Yeah, dash cam is a really good thing to have. Okay, let's keep going. I think this is our final category, new words about food and culture. Let's jump in. Our first one is cold brew. And cold brew is a type of coffee that's made by steeping the coffee grounds. Coffee grounds are that refers to the powder, right? The ground up coffee beans that are like in powder form, in cold water for many hours. It's different from iced coffee. Okay, so iced coffee is coffee that was made the usual way, which is we put the coffee grounds in hot water, and then it only needs a few minutes, right, in hot water, and then we just pour it over ice and cool it down. That's iced coffee. Cold brew is different. In cold brew, we take the coffee grounds, the coffee powder, and we put them in cold water. And because the water is cold, it needs a lot more hours for the flavor of the coffee to get into the water. So that's why we leave it for many hours. And then you can have it right. Yeah, the coffee grains are in the water, but it's already ground into powder. Need to leave it for many hours. The reason people do this is because they say it gives like a smoother taste to the coffee. It's not as bitter. I don't know. I'm not a coffee specialist. I love coffee, but I'm not super familiar with all the details. But if you see cold brew on the menu, it is a coffee that was made in using this technique of putting the coffee in the cold water for many hours instead of the normal way, which is putting the coffee in hot water for only a few minutes. Okay. Here's another term that has become popular, and I hope it becomes more common, is farm to table. You'll often see this when talking about like a restaurant. Um, Farm to table refers to food that comes from local farms. So local farms meaning nearby farms. Here where I live, there are a lot of farms nearby. So it means we're not importing food from Thailand and from Brazil, which is not great for the environment, right? Because we have to send it on a plane and all of that. But if there's food that's grown in like the next city over, it's really easy to bring that food here and prepare a meal with it. So farm to table refers to food that comes directly from local farms. And the emphasis is on the food is fresh, right? Because maybe it was just grown and picked a couple days ago instead of, again, bringing it in from another country where it might take a couple of weeks to get here. And sustainability, meaning care for the environment, making sure that we can preserve our world and not pollute it with like too many plane flights and too much transportation. So if a restaurant has farm to table food, it's probably pretty healthy. And some people just prefer this way. Is it the same as organic food? No. So organic is a specific way of farming. Okay. So when you farm, when you grow food, um, there are certain, you have to spray things on the food, right, to keep the bugs away. Those are called pesticides, those chemicals. Organic food has to use either none of those chemicals or like specific ones that are like more natural. I don't know exactly, but organic refers to the method of growing the food in a more like natural and healthy and not as many unnatural chemicals that are used on the crops. So yeah, organic food has no chemicals, exactly. And then farm to table just means it's coming from like a nearby farm instead of being shipped halfway around the world. Yeah, in Colombia, we have a lot of farm to table markets. Yeah. So if you're eating farm to table, you are a little bit limited by what fruits and vegetables can grow in your local area, right? And in that season. So I can't bring in something like star fruit, which grows in tropical areas but doesn't grow here because I would have to import that. Okay, good questions. I love these questions because I think they're valuable for everybody who might have a doubt. Okay, trad wife. This comes from traditional wife. And it's this trend of there's a lot of women on social media nowadays who are promoting more traditional gender roles, meaning the husband works and the woman takes care of the house. And so there are a lot of women who are creating like Instagram and Facebook and YouTube channels and whatever, showing everything they do as a traditional wife. So maybe they are making their bread from scratch, like from the basic ingredients instead of buying it at the store. Or maybe they sew their own clothes, or maybe it's a lot of food preparation, clothing, taking care of the house, taking care of the kids. And that has become a bit of like a contrast to I guess like the wave of feminism, women going to work. Some people choose to do this more traditional thing where the man works and the woman stays home. Of course, both lifestyles are valid. I think it depends on every family, but if you choosing what's the best for them. But if you see this expression trad wife, it means like traditional wife, what has historically in the past, I guess, been common of the man working and the woman staying home. And then lots of women who stay home like to make this content showing a little bit of how they manage the household and how they make their food and whatnot. And then finally, we have cooked. Even though I put this in the food section, it is actually not a food word. It means defeated or doomed. Cooked, it's like, let's see, if we don't, your teacher's giving you a big group project. If we don't get this done by Friday, we're cooked, meaning will fail the class. They'll, and fail the whole course. Cooked means like you're done. You're defeated. A bad result's going to happen. Bad consequence. And yeah, so that's a slang. That's, again, more of a slang word. I probably wouldn't use it in a professional context, but you will hear it pretty often in more informal conversations. A couple questions going back to trad wife. Can we say trad husband? I haven't heard that one. Mainly because it's mostly women who are creating this social media content. You don't really see the husbands like going to work and making little videos about their work. So, how would you call a husband in this case? I guess you would just say traditional husband. You don't really see it abbreviated as trad husband. Could we say digital influencer? Yes. So digital influencer is a broader term. Someone who is a digital influencer can be in any area. Could be in the area of fitness. Could be, I would say I'm a little bit of a digital influencer in the area of English. You can have a digital influencer in the area of travel. So that's like the big category. Anyone who has like is very popular online for any reason. And then tradwife is like one piece of inside this category of digital influencers. Good question. Okay, so we're coming to the end of our time. The next steps for you, I know we went through those pretty fast and I gave a couple examples, but there are more examples in the class notes. Again, the link is in the description, and I will also send them out by email tomorrow if you're not already on my email list. And I would encourage you to join the Academy this week to get lessons that will last you all of 2026 and beyond. You might not know, but when you join the Academy, you actually get lifetime access to the courses. I have students who come back even after a year or 2 years. Maybe they've taken a little break from their English learning, or they've been sick, or they haven't had time, they've been busy with work, and they come back and the Academy is all still waiting for them. I don't make your access expire. So you can go through the lessons in the Academy at your own pace. You can stop and start, but there's no time limit to it. And just really quickly, I'm not going to go through every detail because it's all on the page if you click the link in the video description. But the Academy includes basic, intermediate, and advanced grammar, 3 vocabulary courses, 2 speaking courses, 2 pronunciation courses, listening and reading courses, as well as we cover phrasal verbs. Those are things like get up, throw away, chip in. Idioms, those little phrases that don't mean exactly what the words translate to. You have to learn the whole expression. It's a little more advanced. We cover business English. We have a new course that I just created this past November called Bite-Sized Stories, where you get a story every day, and then from the story, I teach you the vocabulary in it and the grammar. Really, really fun. It was a fun course to make. I think it was a fun course for my students to take. That's included in the Academy. And then we have ebooks on collocations, meaning how we put words together, confusing words, some of like we talked about today, like what's the difference between organic food and farm to table. Some of these words that seem pretty similar in English, or they may even be the same in your language, but in English we have these small differences, and we have an ebook on slang. So all in all, you get 15 courses, 5 ebooks, as I mentioned, lifetime access to those lessons. And we've added a student discussion group for just some casual practice. This is just like a Facebook group. If you've ever been part of a Facebook group, I post a conversation starter daily, and then students just comment. We can interact, we can learn from each other, we can practice word of the day, whatever we want. And so if you literally only have 1 minute to log in and you don't even have time to take one of the short lessons, you can pop into the student discussion group. It's included in the Academy. Yeah, that's a little just screenshot from one of the conversation starters I did last year, year-end reflections. What were some of your biggest challenges in 2025? So we talked about that in the comments. And so I post something there pretty much every day. And we do some challenges on specific areas throughout the year as well. Yeah, those comments from some of my lovely students. And when you join in January, I mentioned this at the beginning, but if you were to add up all of the courses, like at the normal prices, it would come to about $1,000. I discount that to $297. That's available all year. you can get that discount all year. But what's specific to January is this opportunity for 10 payments of $29.70. So I know that sometimes it's easier to like spread it out over the whole year or close to the year. So that's why I make it available in January. The good news is after you finish those 10 payments, payments stop automatically and you keep the lifetime access. So this is not a subscription that goes on forever. 10 payments are done. They're done. Awesome. You will continue to enjoy your lessons for months and years to come. And again, just reminding you of the bonus, when you join by January 8th, you will get instant access to this downloadable 365 English words calendar with some fun graphics and yeah, just a great resource for you to print out. It's labeled with like the days on the calendar, so you can print out this week and have a really easy and visual way to learn, basically expand your vocabulary all year. So thank you for joining me today. I have there my Instagram, my TikTok, if you want to follow me, as well as my website. And then I hope to see some of you in the Academy. Thank you so much for coming. I loved your interaction. Thank you. And yes, looking forward to discussing in the Academy. Probably this week, I will take some of the words that we learned today and we will try to practice them. You are quite welcome. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. I had fun today. I hope you learned something new, and I will see you next time. Keep an eye on your emails for more short and sweet English tips. Bye for now.